Hello, my friends, and welcome to the new video. Here I am with my cool little journal, and yesterday I was doing a bit of writing, or rather, reading of this journal because I haven't written in it for months. Start of the year, new year, you always have these goals, you always have this motivation, extra motivation, but as the work got tougher, as the time got, just there wasn't any of it, the routine stops. And literally months go by, you didn't even realize you're not writing. And if you already know, journaling is incredibly useful, great tool to keep your mind in check, to just feel more organized in your mind. So those thoughts that you have are not as big of a burden as they usually would be. So I was reading through it and just seeing what I was saying, because when you look back, that's when you can really see your mindset and how it's progressing and the problems you have. Are you still dealing with them or have you actually surpassed them? And while I was reading all of that, it was kind of rough because in the moment, okay, I'm going through it, but now that you kind of look back at it, you can see that it was a lot of these little struggles. And I wouldn't say I was suffering, but someone objectively reading it, I'd say it was definitely something that I have problems that keep repeating. So I've written a little summary for myself, a way to see how do I actually get into problems? What keeps me from not being consistent? What keeps me from not just constantly getting slowly better and just staying on track with things? So this is in no order, and I believe some of these things kind of repeat themselves, but I still feel like this will be valuable for you guys. So, number one, I don't do the things that I know I'm supposed to do. It's very simple. If you want to feel good, you need to do good things. It's hard to just by your mind alone, to cultivate this sense of feeling great. You actually need to do good deeds, good stuff that you know you are supposed to do. You don't need no more books, no more articles, or even this video. At the end of the day, you know what needs to be done. But by actively avoiding them, that's where we fall into a trap. Myself, I would know, for example, that I have to do these little maybe rehab exercises for my problems. But then, by some reason, I don't want to say, oh, it's work, so that's why I can't do it. That's just coping. That's just like creating excuses for me to feel better. But I would mess up like that. It could be different, 100 different reasons. But I would not do something that I know that I'm supposed to do. That can be silly things, whatever. Find the example for yourself. But if you don't do it, it will stay in your subconscious that you actually actively chose not to do something, and it builds up just as good things builds up, and then you will lose momentum. I noticed this. It's one of those things that it's just you cannot avoid the simple truth in life, and that is good things make you feel better. Simple as bad things might make you feel better in the moment, but not in the long term. Which is the second point. I do what I'm not supposed to do. Instead of immediately getting up and doing something, I would be on my phone sometimes, or doing some, I don't know, fun activities before I would actually do the right things, the work, the obligations that I have. This is also point number five, but it says I lie to myself that I need to take it easy or that I will do something later. You know that you have to do a lot of things, and that gets overwhelming sometimes. 10 different things that I have to do today, and then you're like, okay, let me just take it easy a bit. I will do this now, some activity that's less demanding, and then I'll do it later. But then what ends up happening is you again set off a little system in your mind that says, I'm a failure. I don't have what it takes to literally just go through it and then relax. And in that very moment when you decide these things, you will feel like you're doing the correct thing. You feel like, okay, I actually need rest. You will tell yourself reasons why you need to take rest or to take it easy, but the result is always the same. You end up falling into a ditch. which is obviously not something that you want. So the way I do this is sometimes just shut off my mind and say to myself, one thing at a time. If there's anything that I can teach, it is just to do one thing at a time. Again, starting from morning, waking up, I need to pray. That is the main objective right now, just to pray. Finish praying, okay, then stretch, okay, then work, okay, then do a side project. But you don't say these things, okay, next, no, but just, okay, pray. Nothing exists in the world. Like, you really need to take this into your mind and this and your mindset, apply it. Only thing that you're doing now, as I am recording this video now, nothing exists anymore. No matter how many different things I have today. This is so helpful to avoid falling into that trap of, okay, postponing things and so on. So those are things that, just don't do bad things and you will not feel bad. It's very simple. And the way you will not do bad things is to actually reinforce it with point number one, with good things. The more good you do, the less likely you're going to do bad things. And remember, your mindset, your thoughts alone can hardly get you out of a bad spot. Only good things can. So don't lie to yourself. Don't make excuses. No matter how hard it is, just go through it. And at the end of the day, you'll feel like a million times better. Number three, it's I said I don't make a plan of action. So one of the good habits that I've acquired over years is making a to-do list or a little plan right before bed. So not in the morning, because in the morning, if you don't know what to do, you can already start kind of cruising. But at night, if you know what needs to be done, in the morning you're already set in your mind. While you sleep, you're literally subconsciously, okay, this is what needs to be done, and it will be easier to get up and do the things. So making plan of action. Now, for some people, that can be to literally schedule in by minutes precise what you're going to do. But obviously, this is not extreme. It's very helpful in some phases in your life when you have so many things to do. But realistically, there'll be many things that don't go as planned. There'll be some responsibilities that will pop up. You need to pick up someone, you need to call someone, you need to be somewhere, you need to go to the store, whatever. Life is not predictable. But having a rather like image or just some basic tasks that you want to accomplish and have them written down is so helpful. And this doesn't mean that you already don't know what you need to do. Like, you can know 10 different things in your mind that you need to do. But if you're like, okay, I will do that tomorrow, it gets overwhelming. Again, it gets so overwhelming that you end up doing half of it, just the things that are really mandatory, and the rest that you would actually like to do, you don't do because you don't have the time. The reason you don't have the time because you haven't found the right spots to do the things that you want. You haven't rationed your time correctly. Let's put it like that. Because if we don't have the plan of action, we will end up doing some wasteful activities, maybe like scrolling on our phone, maybe extra 10 minutes on the toilet. They slowly eat up our time. And obviously we will not have enough time then. But we were like, okay, 9 a.m. workout, 10 a.m. Work, 5 p.m. dinner, whatever, just making these things into a plan, even though you have to do it, it is so helpful. So never forget that. So if you're a morning type, do it in the morning, but my recommendation is always plan the day before, the night before. And number four, or rather the last point I'd say I kind of thought about, is also one of the essays I wrote recently. And that's, I don't make a strong decision to do something or not to do something. When you actually have such strong willingness and decisions to not do something or to do something, it will be more likely that that's going to happen. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that when you actually go deep into yourself, either you get emotional or you get upset, whatever it is, something that's bothering you, and you really dig deep into the reasons why that is bothering you, or the reason why you want to do something, like actually go into yourself and not just think of, that sounds cool, I might do that, or that's good idea, whatever. I see myself doing it, I imagine myself doing that. No, that's not enough. If there's something that you actually want to achieve, you really need to go deep in your soul to see what it is that motivates you, drives you, makes you actually want to do it. So if you apply these things to, for example, I don't want to smoke anymore, you want to stop smoking, and you actually start to realize how important that is to you, and not just something like, I know this is bad for me, but I enjoy it. No, if you really commit to it in some sense of your decision, nothing else, your decision, you're like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. It can be done like that. It's like magic, but your strong decision overrides all of those like habits, all of those like mind wiring, because we are so powerful like that. We have so much power in our mind. We just need to strongly decide. And the reason why I would fail, no, I would do good, but then I fail, is exactly that. I wouldn't actually go deep into myself and connect with that goal. So the reason why I wouldn't do that is because I know that I would actually have to live like that. I know that I would actually have to be so disciplined. And the pussy inside of me, let's say just like that, didn't want that. But I realized that that is the literal way you can bypass all the things. Just this is what I'm doing now, nothing else. And you know why you're doing it. So it's not something that you do and you're like, actually, I don't like this. No, you actually know that you want to do this because that is from coming from directly from you. So again, maybe you're wondering how to actually go deep in your mind. Literally, again, maybe get a journal, get a camera, talk. Maybe you don't have much to say, but continue writing or talking, and really just you'll see how your soul starts pouring out, and you realize who you really are, or maybe what you really want, especially when you read it back. So yeah, my friends, to summarize it all, be careful not to get overwhelmed. Focus on one thing at a time. Make a plan. Do good things. Don't do bad things. It sounds funny, but it is the simple truth. And really commit to something to avoid burning up, to avoid having these periods where you're doing great and then periods where you're doing really bad. No matter how hard it gets, keep going. It will be worthwhile. God bless you, my friends. Thank you all for watching, really. I appreciate every single one of you and much.